As most of you know, on the 18th of this month, a submarine, not really a submarine, they keep calling it, what's the name they keep calling it? It's by OceanGate.
It's a submersible. It's called the Titan.
Oh, that's right, the Titan. And they went ahead, that was day 3, apparently, on the 18th, that they went ahead and put it into the water. And about an hour and 40 minutes into it, they lost connection, which has happened before. So no one really thought it was a big deal at the time. So what we know now is 12 hours after last contact, the Coast Guard was notified about the Titan. And this is how this all starts taking place. It's kind of unreal. Do we want to talk about the dream here or not talk about the dream, or just stick to the...
No, I think we should wrap it up with the dream at the end.
Okay.
So everyone can get, like, whoever's not following the story, and I was one of those people. But let's keep it to facts, so go ahead.
Okay, so what we know now is that, so this guy who happens to be on the Titan, Stockton Rush, he is the CEO, and he is on it now. So the issue is this, is that when he hired people to work on this thing, hi, Erica, when he hired people to work on this thing, none of them knew about submarines. None of them had worked on submarines, nothing like that. So today I was listening to this man, and we are going to put it in, we are going to link it. We're going to link it up. But his name is Aaron, and he has like a YouTube channel called Subbrief, and he is a Navy veteran. He, I think, for like 20 years. So he knows all about submarines. He's been working on this for a long time. So the one thing that he kept saying was there was no one there to say, hey, this is what will work. This is what will not work. None of that was looked into. So what this guy did, Stockton Rush, was that when he was hiring people, he did hire college graduates. That's a great thing. That is good. But like one of the people was like a snowboarder. Another one was, fresh out of college, and again, they don't have any experience in what they needed. So this Titan was put together with what they called off-the-shelf items. Meaning this is not big stuff that they have to order from somewhere. You could basically go into a Home Depot and, a Lowe's, and buy a lot of the stuff that was used for this. So this is one of the issues. So the Titan is for having the biggest viewing area, the biggest viewing window, I guess, to be able to see. The problem with that is windows can be weak, right? And so the way this thing was put together, this is one of the concerns. And again, that goes back to the fact that the people who put this together did not, they didn't look at any aviation lessons that we had learned. That was taken right from this YouTube channel I was listening to. They didn't. A lot of times when something happens, if you're building something new, you'll go from NASA lessons, you'll go from aviation lessons, so you have an idea of what you're working with. And even if we think back to like the movie Apollo 13, when they're all working together to bring Apollo 13 home, right? They're all working together. They know exactly how that thing is built. They're able to go get stuff they can use, and they have an idea of what they're working with. With the Titan, they don't really have this kind of information. They have some bits and pieces, but not everything.
They did,
right? So
I was just answering Erica's question. They did have a pilot for this sub.
Right. Yeah, that's a good question. So we know there's 5 people on board. I wrote it down.
Yeah, I have it here. Stockton Rush, CEO and founder. The pilot, I believe, was Hamish Harding, who was the same guy who went to space with Jeff Bezos, the Blue Origin.
Right.
And then there's Paul Henry Nargeolet. He was in the French Navy, and he's been to the Titanic site. And then, this is like the most heartbreaking. I don't know much
The
about it.
son,
It's
yeah.
the father and son, Shahzada Dawood, and the son's name Suleiman. I know they're from Pakistan, some sort of business entrepreneurs, but go ahead, I didn't mean to interrupt, I just wanted to.
No,
by the way,
no.
they're all billionaires, and I'm only mentioning that is because everyone's mentioning that, and I don't think that should take away that these are 5 souls, and I think it's a little distasteful, all the joking I've seen. They're still human beings. There's a lot. TikTok is the worst for that. People are clowning. They're clowning it.
Oh, that's
mixing it with
so sad. I had no idea about that.
Yeah,
None at all.
I have to say, I know, like, it's funny, you know, they put the Titanic theme. There was one I saw where, when they wake up, they're going to see Jack Dawson at the top of the stairs, you know, when Rose finally dies. I don't know, like, I get it, they're billionaires. I get that maybe to some people it's stupid to spend $250,000 to go in a 21-foot tin can, basically.
Right.
But I still say it's like a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. But even if it is the dumbest decision, you know, there's still people. And that 19-year-old kid, you know.
Well, I don't like the ocean, so it's not something. So, so the thing is that for me, I would not have chosen it. You know, because number one, I'm claustrophobic. Number two, accidents happen all the time. And number three, I absolutely hate the ocean. I've always said the ocean is one big graveyard, and I just don't like it. So, like, I can go and sit next to it. I could be at the shore, whatever. But, like, when it comes to, like, major stuff, I am not that brave. I could not have done it. And regardless, even if these people were brave, like, a lot of people are showing this guy who was like, I'm forgetting the name. He's there now, but he's signing the thing, and he's saying, he says that it says something like 5 times it mentions death or something, the contract that you're signing. And then he goes, where do I sign? You got to keep in mind that this guy was joking, and he had no idea. He had no idea that something like would go wrong. We don't know those things. Now, in the past, when Stockton Rush took this thing, he didn't take it down as far as it is now, but he did take it down. He did lose contact for 2.5 hours, and then they were able to regain contact. I don't think he took it that far down, but I could be mistaken.
He had successful missions to the Titanic. He had a
okay.
And just to reiterate, Erica, I believe they ran out of oxygen, right, Sonny? Like,
I think at this point in time, if they are alive, there is supposed to be still some oxygen left at this point, because it was supposed to be an 8-day trip. So they were supposed to, so I believe that oxygen was more for, like, I want to say, like, it was maybe an emergency thing. I was not quite sure of that, and I was getting very confused because I was hearing 2 different things. So it was very much confusing to me.
The beacon is a good question, and I wanted to address that. First of all, well, it's different, but they said obviously they can't do GPS due to the depth. They were actually communicating via text messaging, but they did have someone professional in this field say that they could have had a device that is very easily accessible, that is like a homing beacon, and they'd be able to ping it and find it right away. So there's a little confusion. The guy even made a comment, because I want to go over some conspiracies too. The guy made a comment that there's a lot of holes in the story. Like, if you are the owner of this company, and you know safety is supposed to be your first concern, this is something that should have been put onto the submarine. So.
Hello, Sylvia.
Like the black,
And
exactly.
yeah, exactly. And that's what I was thinking about too, earlier, Erica.
Black Fox.
Like
Everything I
why?
just said.
Like
Black Fox.
why were there none of these things? So um one of the things that this man Aaron was talking about was he was really kind of blown away that they were using a controller that was not that was a wireless controller. And he was saying,
Logitech.
yeah, because he was saying like with Logitech, they are known for having some issues with receiving messages, and are receiving
The Bluetooth.
thank you.
It drops the
So
connection. Yeah.
yeah, so imagine that now you're in this thing and connection has dropped. And not only that, but are you taking extra batteries? Is there some kind
They
of
bought
USB?
they bought
Is there
spare
like
controllers.
okay, so that's good because that was one of the things I was thinking like, do they have those things? Like it's very important, and. And then let's see, I wanted to go over a couple of the things that he had mentioned. Now, here is where he was really, and we may have answered one of these questions already, but he wanted to know if, when we talk about the air that's on there, how was the air tested? Was it done underwater? Was it done because you can't, he said there could be vast differences once you go to certain depths, right? And then they were saying that for some of the things on the Titan, they didn't. Oh, for the Titan itself, you are supposed to do a test before you ever take these things down at 4,000 meters. And these things weren't done with anyone other than Stockton Rush. And they were like, why can't we see like how these tests were run? Why can't we see any of that? And so, and I think that's a fair question. Like, why don't we know exactly how those things were run? Because it feels like they should have to answer to somebody on
Well,
that. Um,
the air being tested. The only thing I can add to that is, like I said, he's had successful missions in the past. So maybe like it wasn't
right, but it
something that.
was only him, right?
No.
Like he
He had other people. He ran successful missions. Always 5 people on board.
for sure bins. Right, but the thing is, before he ever takes anybody down, they're supposed to do tests at 4,000 meters.
Yeah.
So if anything happens, they can say, "Hey, this is a possible mishap. This is a possible thing that can go wrong," and do tests at that level where everything could be okay. There's no way to ventilate the pressure hull is one of the things that Aaron was saying, and if there's no ventilation and then things are going wrong, that could be a big issue because then what happens is carbon monoxide, right? So you're thinking of those things, especially the faster when somebody's stressing out or having anxiety, they start breathing faster. Now there's no fresh air, and then you're dealing with just normal bodily things that are going on in this little tiny vessel. It's not very big. We all saw
21
them.
feet long.
Yeah, not big at all. Um, uh, Okay, so I guess topside is something um, where like, so if something's going on, this is something like beyond his company, right? So he's having these communications. Stockton Rush was saying he didn't like being interrupted by topside because it was his thing. The Titan was his thing. But what happened is he has no communications with them, and if he did, they could have probably already been located, right? So that's one of the issues. Okay, they were concerned about the fact that several times while they were doing these little missions, communication was lost during those testing times. And they were very concerned about that. Why wasn't that completely fixed beforehand? And then the fiber pressure hull could most likely shatter because by the way it was tested. Okay, so the hull that's on there is not supposed to go under 13,000 feet, the kind of hull that they have on there. And also the dome that they have on there is not supposed to go under 4,200 feet. So, and these are things that are that they made this thing with, because again, it's off the shelf, right? And right, that's exactly right, Sylvia. That's one of the things we were talking about is, they waited 12 hours from the last point of contact to say, hey, there's a problem, and that's when they contacted the Coast Guard. And you got to imagine, they're so far down. Like, that's the thing, is they're so far down. And Tina and I were messaging back and forth, and it was like, what they have is, it's basically like an elevator button. Like, they have that, and they have a controller. Like, I don't think when my son was little, I don't think I would have left him home all day with just a little green button and a controller. Like, and these people went underwater. And the thing is, it's like, nobody knows what's going to happen. They did not know that this was going to happen. And that just makes it so sad. And at the same time, there's part of me that goes, why would you get on this flimsy looking little thing, and pay, like, why? Like, but at the same time, it's like, who am I to tell people how to spend their money? But I'm just very confused by it. I'm just very conflicted. I have very mixed emotions. Tina, anything?
Yeah, I agree. I just wanted to recap a few things, just to confirm some of what you said. So, 21 foot, again, carbon fiber sub, one button, one Logitech controller. By the way, this particular controller had the worst reviews. This thing in the Atlantic, with these 5 billionaires that are currently inside. And so just to 13,000 feet below surface is where they were headed, is where the Titanic is. Equivalent, you ready for this? To 10 Empire State Buildings.
Oh my God. I never thought about it in terms like that.
So, like Sunny said, just reconfirming, they lost comms after an hour and 45 minutes. I just have to mention this. They're basically it's a tight fit in there. They have people be barefoot in there.
Right.
There's one little black box that they use as a toilet with a curtain. So they were last seen 900 miles off the coast of Cape Cod. Where they were heading was 400 miles off the coast of Newfoundland. Here's the thing. I don't know if you read this, but it's supposed to have some sort of safety protocol that if anything goes awry, the sub is supposed to float right to the top. And then Starlink, the thing that Elon Musk invented, should be able to find it right away. However, it's possible that this thing is floating on the surface of the ocean with no power. Now,
well, we've also heard I'm sorry, I apologize.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. So we've also heard some stuff that it could have been snagged.
Yeah.
Like, it could have been snagged onto something, and that's why it couldn't float to the top.
Right, and here's what what Sylvia said. The thing is, if you, anyone, any average Joe finds this thing floating on the Atlantic somewhere, we couldn't even get them out. This thing is bolted from the outside.
17 bolts. Yeah.
Very good. Yeah, 17 bolts. And just, this is another thing I found really interesting. There's only 3 operating subs in the entire world that can go that depth. By the way, just to give you another comparison, can you guess, Sonny, how far a nuclear power sub can go down? Now, this thing is the Titan can go down 13,000 feet.
I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know.
Below surface. 13,000 feet. A nuclear power sub, 3,000 feet. 3. So The scary thing is,
Wow.
the scary thing is, even if they find them, they don't know if it's possible to, like you said. Here's the thing: they don't only, like I originally thought, they don't only go and like look at the Titanic, like from the, like do maybe a circle around the Titanic. They go on this fucking thing. When I tell you they take this is why it's small. They go on it. They go in it. So it's very possible that it got
Like,
snagged or something.
so I'm sorry, I don't mean to sound stupid, but you're telling me, like, because I know the Titanic is, like, in pretty bad shape now. So you're telling me that they can go, like, inside of the ship?
One of the previous Cyclops, I think it was called, instead of the Titan, a ship before that had a successful mission. They went down the staircase in this thing. That famous staircase.
Yeah.
So they go in this fucking thing.
That's terrifying. I did not know that.
Here's the thing. God forbid there was a leak and this little sub imploded, which God bless these souls on board, but it would be the best way to go because it'd be so quick. Here's the thing.
They wouldn't
If it imploded,
even know it.
no,
Yeah.
if it imploded on Titanic, then it destroyed more of the Titanic.
Yeah.
So,
I've heard that if something did happen, they would basically, like, this is not to be too graphic, but they would be crushed like an egg. And it would happen so fast that their brains would not have time to what's that word I'm looking for, Tina? It would not have time to understand what was happening, because it would be so fast. So in some ways, it would be kind of a blessing to go that fast, Like, I'm not trying to make light of it or make it seem like it's easy, but, if I had to choose between we're about to run out of air in 5 hours, we're probably not going to make it, or bam, you don't even realize you're going to be in bad shape. Because one of the things, some of the stuff is that, like, for instance, if the dome was not put on exactly correct, because they use this, like, major, like, glue to put it on. So when they do that, if for some reason it was not put on exactly correct and water barely starts seeping through, that just a little bit of water can cause so much damage, right? And so, I mean, you have to think about that.
But here's another interesting, eerie fact. Do you happen to remember in the movie Titanic, and this was true in real life, what the captain told? I mean, it wasn't true who he said it to, but he was known to have said this. Do you remember what he said to Kate in the movie about the boat and its safety?
No.
She said, "Oh, is this boat like really safe or something?" And he had said, "Oh, it's impenetrable or invulnerable." Remember, he said, "Oh, don't worry, your pretty little head," or whatever. That's probably wrong. But what's eerie is the CEO, Stockton Rush, in an interview said that the sub is invulnerable, which is kind of eerie because that's what the captain of the Titanic was telling people. So
it's
anyway,
very creepy.
Yeah, the most recent we heard. Okay, I don't know if you heard about this. So there was audio recording found yesterday, but it was inaudible. And then also yesterday, they found, they believe to be an SOS signal with banging heard every 30 minutes.
Yeah, but they're also saying, so the Coast Guard came forward about that and said they cannot, absolutely say that came from them, right? No. So my other thing is, well, then where would it be coming from, number one? But it makes me just kind of wonder, like, even if they are doing that, like, how do they pinpoint it? Like, I mean, are they able to say in there, hey, we're at this location? Because I don't know. I mean, do they have a compass on board? Not a compass, but you know what I mean? Like, kind of like a compass.
I do know what you mean. And they lost comms an hour and 45 minutes in, like you said. It takes 2 hours to reach the Titanic. So they're not even certain that they reached the Titanic. One source says that they did make it, but nobody knows for sure. So
well, it takes about 2 hours to reach it. And then one of the things that I heard as well was That's about the time when they reach the Titanic where they lose connection, where they lose the communication.
Yeah, but you said, because I didn't hear this. You had said that in the past that he lost connection before for 2.5 hours and then regained it.
Yeah.
Okay, so um, one other thing I'd like to mention is there are conspiracies going around, and the only reason I want to address them is because I find them a little interesting, and it doesn't make you crazy, I think, to ask questions when situations like this
Exactly.
happen.
I'm with you.
I like conspiracies only because it gives me hope that this shit isn't real. But one of the theories is 5 billionaires in one sub could have been them faking their death. Now, in particular, Stockton Rush, the CEO and founder, and it's also interesting. It's called OceanGate because, like everything in Hollywood, Pizzagate, everything's gate this, gate
Oh,
that.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So this Stockton Rush, apparently, he was being sued. I believe by many parties, but in particular by the Hagels, who were supposed to go on a trip in October of 2017 when it was named the Cyclops. I don't know if it was a completely different sub or the same sub because they had named it Cyclops, and then Cyclops 2, and then they renamed it, but they were being they never got to go. The trip was canceled by the CEO numerous times, rescheduled, and then finally canceled. And they ended up paying over $210,000. He was being sued by them. And then I didn't go deeper into these other guys, but I think it is an interesting theory that if you take 5 billionaires and put them in there and, faking their death. The other conspiracy I heard was distraction, like something else is going on in the world that we're being distracted by. And then there is the theory that, because there's also a lot of holes in the story, that this was sabotage.
Right.
Revenge, sabotage, so I don't know. Those are the theories I've heard so far. And then there's always the theories that, this didn't even happen. Like, they went under and then they just came out different side of the ocean.
I don't know. I mean, I'm all about conspiracy theories and things because there are some that I'm like, that's crazy. But I don't know. Like, I mean, a lot of those things are possible, but like, I think right now it's just more about, like, I just keep thinking about about lives and the people that love them and how hard that would be to be like, okay, I'll see you in a few days, and then bam, they're gone. Like, it's just, and you're wondering, like, are they going to come back up? Are they going to be okay even if they do? And I will be honest with you, if you go and watch the thing that we're going to link up to this, I will tell you that at the end of it, he says that they're gone. He says that they're dead already. And I mean, I don't know how he can know that for sure, but he is an expert in submarine stuff. And, the one thing I will say that I think the Stockton guy, Stockton Rush, I think he should have, I do believe that he should have had an expert in this to be part of it, an expert in all this stuff. I understand that he thought, because one of the reasons he wouldn't hire, like his exact words, I don't want to hire some 50-year-old, white guy that's not going to inspire young kids. I want to hire kids right out of college to do this to inspire younger people, which is all a great thing to say until you're putting human lives at risk. And then not only that, he put his own life at risk. Stockton Rush is the CEO of OpenGate. He's also on the Titan right now.
OceanGate.
Yeah.
You said OpenGate.
Did I say OpenGate? I'm all up in the gate. Yeah, no, he's the CEO of OceanGate, and he's on the he was on the Titan when when it went down.
Adding to what Sonny said, this thing wasn't regulated by anyone, and that's just the way he
Yeah.
wanted it. And the thing for me, if any of you here on Instagram or YouTube can add to why, unless this guy was wrong, but this guy claims that they could have easily put the device on, and we could have pinged it, and then, had the search and rescue operation quicker, and they have a better chance to live.
But my
So I'd like to
only
know.
thing is, I think even if they had found them, would we have had one of the things that are able to go that deep go down and get them? Like, is it readily available?
No, you're right about that, but it would have given us options, more options than we have now.
Yeah.
We could have,
I think the thing is that even if we do go down to get them at some point, it's just going to be it's going to be a recovery mission.
Right.
I don't believe it's going to be a rescue mission.
But imagine if they actually didn't make it all the way down, or something happened, and they can't, we could have made plans and figured something out. But this way, it's like we're working in the blind. And here's the thing: you have to picture this. First of all, you got to pray for these people, billionaire or not, has nothing to do with it. Many experts are saying that they are most likely dead already. But picture being 5 of you. You have to sit crisscross. You have the pilot and then the 4 of you. You have one little black box as a bathroom with a curtain separating you. A porthole window. I forget how big the porthole window is. It's not very big. And imagine if they are at the bottom by the Titanic, the water is, I don't remember how cold, in the 30 degrees, I believe.
But it's also pitch black.
That's the thing. That's what I was getting at. Now imagine you're in this thing, and that's why I bring up the barefoot thing. And it's the least of their problems. But think about it. You got everyone's like BO. Everyone's breathing. Everyone's sweating. People are panicking. Now you're trying to control your breathing. It's got to be one of the most scary. It's cold. It is so cold. Like, what can you even do to keep warm? There's no power, right? I mean, I can't.
You got to think they're like. I mean, I hate to sound like a jerk, but it's almost like they would have frozen to death, like.
I think that's the second best way to die, and I don't hate to sound morbid, but if I was in that situation, I either want to freeze to death or I want that implosion thing, because sitting there waiting for your air to run out, suffocating.
They had some food and water, Sylvia.
Yeah. Oh, here's the funny thing. Someone did say this. This was kind of funny. Nothing about the situation is funny, but what this girl said made me laugh, only because imagine paying $250,000 to go on this trip, and this dude, Stockton, is like, oh, make sure you bring your own sandwiches and drinks. And she was like, even like the airlines will give you, a nice cookie or something. But
yeah, they'll give you a cup of coffee. And when you ask for cream and sugar, they give you like half a pack.
Yeah, that's true. But it's a good question, Sylvia. Did they? It's so small. Did they have backup?
They did have food and water. They did, yeah.
Yeah, but they.
It wasn't a lot. They're not eating gourmet meals. They're basically snacking.
It was supposed to be an 8-hour trip.
Oh, that's right. I said 8-day. It was supposed to be, yeah.
8 hours.
That's right.
What I'm saying. They ran out. I'm telling you, they ran out of oxygen, I think, because it's 2 hours to get to the Titanic. I believe they spend 3-4 hours, exploring, and then another 2 hours.
No. They had the amount of air they had. Hang on, I have this written down. I believe it was 196 hours of air.
No, 96 hours.
No, I believe it's more than that.
It's 3 days.
Oh no, I'm a
4 days.
liar. You're right. They had 96. So that means, and that was on the 18th, and now we're on the 21st. So you're telling me they've already gone through.
Maybe you're right.
No, I'm not.
They might have
right. It's 96. I have it written down right here.
I'm saying the 18th it went missing.
Well, the 18th, yeah, the 18th they went, and it was like 12 hours later. So you figure they're already at 72 hours. Like they're past 72 hours.
You're right. They may still have some air left.
Yeah, not a lot. Like they have less than a day's worth of air left.
That's the problem. Even if we find them now, Yeah, and this is the other fucked up thing. I just want to say really quick. If they knew somehow, well, they would know from the window that they were like bouncing on the ocean surface. They can't even get out, and I don't understand. Like,
But why would you want to get out? Like, if you're on the bottom, you're not opening that door.
No. I'm saying if they were on the ocean surface, they can't let themselves out.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
So that's what sucks to me is like you're right there, and I don't understand why there's not some sort of escape hatch. There should be a way to escape. Like, I know it's a sub that's built like that for a reason. I guess they're bolted shut because it has to be completely sealed, right?
Right.
Is that?
Well, it's got
to
be sealed. Like, yeah, it's got to be.
That's what's frustrating. Imagine looking out the window and you could see you're on the surface, and you can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
That's true. I don't know what would piss me off more, that or.
Yeah, like, I don't know. I think, number one, I'm claustrophobic. So the thought of this happening, like, and being part of it is just, it's too much. It's too much. Like, there should be something in there that says exactly where you are, altitude, latitude, all this stuff, so they can say we're right here. You know, because had they done that, then, you know, it'd be this whole, you know, we'd at least be able to get to them if they are on the surface. And even if they, because the thing is, someone on the outside, like, let's say they get to them and they're like, okay, at least we found it, you know, they could at least bust open the window right away, right, to at least get air going through, you know. But then again, it's like,
you can
who's
bust
to
that
say?
window. It's like plexiglass, I think.
Plexiglass is not as strong as people think it is, right?
What's the windows they use on planes? Isn't it like?
I don't know. I think it's a Lego window.
Anyway, before we get to Sunny's dream that she had months before this happened, which is
and more... Tina could vouch for me on this. I think Chrissy and Lulu could vouch for me too.
Yeah. So just to wrap it up again, I find it mind-blowing that with everything and everyone looking, and today's they can't look.
But do you, though? Because this guy who put this together didn't... Well, I mean, I don't know, because the guy who put this thing together did not want any outside sources, right? So he didn't have, like, a black box in there. He didn't... Like, they didn't have any of that. So, I mean, unless somebody's got their phone, but where they might even be, it might not even be able to ping against anything to send a message, you know?
One other fun fact before we get to your dream.
I don't think it's a fun fact.
It's not a fun fact, right? First of all, more people, not a fun fact, right? Just a fact. More people have been in space, by the way, than this depth. Let that wrap around your mind. Which also brings me to the next fact. That did you know that NASA was originally formed to search the ocean?
Yep. I did know that.
But they found it easier to search the space. Do you know that we have more mapping of Mars and the moon than we do of the ocean? So if someone says to me, you want to go to space or you want to go see Titanic 13,000 feet below,
I'm going to say I'll go to Target.
No, I'd go to space, the south. I would say if they don't find them now, they never will.
Oh, wait.
Cover them.
I got confused. Hang on. I would say if they don't find them now, they will. Yeah, I agree with you, Sylvia, 110%.
It's not like having enough lifeboats on the Titanic.
That's exactly right, Erica.
Well, that's the thing. Even the Titanic didn't have enough lifeboats, right? So it's the same thing as this guy being like, well, my sub is impenetrable, so there's no need for safety protocols, even though they do have the safety protocol that if anything goes wrong, it's supposed to float to the top. But if let's say it floated to the top immediately, first of all, it's white. It's not, it's still dark. It's still the ocean, even if it's like kind of floating on. You know how it is, like debris.
Yeah.
It's not very visible.
It's like a needle in a haystack kind of thing, like right now. And it's kind of like Sylvia said, it could be wedged against something. It could be wedged, like if they did make it to the Titanic, it could be literally wedged somewhere inside the Titanic. Like, we don't know.
It's I don't know how to not ironic. No, that's the wrong word. It's just eerie to me. Like, you go down to see the Titanic, and I guess there's people, like, there was one woman that did, and she said that it was her long life dream to see the Titanic, and she wanted to mourn these people in person. Okay. Um, these five guys, including the CEO, went down, and for whatever reason, their interest to see. But it's so eerie to me that they may now themselves be in the Titanic, which, in a sense, to claim more lives.
Well, I think that's the thing that kind of creeps me out, is part of me thinks that years from now or whatever, that somebody else is going to go down there and, and they're going to find pieces of the Titan there. Because like we said, it could have imploded or whatever. Like, we don't know if they'll find pieces of the Titan or not, or, whatever. Like we don't know how that's going to go. And I think that's very scary, like, to think about.
Yeah,
The Titanic curse, yeah, right, yeah.
yeah. And that's another thing. People don't even believe that the Titanic. They believe it's what, the Olympian or something.
Well, there is a lot of weird facts about that. Like, I'll say that.
Yeah. But I don't know. And the other sad thing is, if it did implode in the Titanic, will there be any effects to that as far as now debris? Well, I guess it won't really affect. Would it affect anything? I mean,
Well, I think it would
may hurt.
affect the Titanic, because the Titanic now is so brittle, right? It's been down there for such a long
Well,
time.
sea life, right?
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like, I'm just wondering if it would have any other damaging effects down, I don't know. Oh, man. No one's talked, sorry.
No, I was going to say, the part that kind of freaks me out is, what if, like, 5 years from now or whatever, this thing washes up on the shore somewhere? If it didn't get trapped somewhere, and it's been like, and that is just heartbreaking to me, to think of that more than thinking of it imploding. Because if it washes up somewhere, it means that, they may have been alive the whole time until the air ran out, because it means, that it was floating somewhere and then got washed up on shore. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, is that making sense? Like,
No, I would not want to be the one to open that sub either. Like, Titanic is
well,
getting eaten away. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Oh man, like, how to open that? I don't know. I mean, I want them to be found alive and saved and all that. But what you just said is, like, the most disturbing outcome, I think, because that means they have struggled that entire time. They were scared. They were panicking. I know I'd be, like, hyperventilating, full panic attack mode. I'd be vomiting. I would probably just completely go insane. I mean,
yeah, and not only that, but, like, their families, man, their families that are here, and just, it's not like they can call them. It's not like, and I think that's just the most heartbreaking thing. If you don't know if your loved one is dead or alive, and you have hope, you're just sitting back having hope that.
Yes, but there is one messed up thing I heard. One of these men's, one of their family members was seen at a Blink 182 concert.
So, what?
Well, I'm just saying, would I be up for a concert if a family member was missing for 3-4 days?
Well, how long were they waiting to go to that concert? Like, the thing is like, just listen, just hear me out. Just hear me out. What if they, like, really have hope that everything is going to be fine? What if there's somebody that doesn't feel the way me or you feel? And they're thinking, like, everything is going to be fine because they literally mentally cannot comprehend it. So they're just going to go about their lives until they absolutely get the
Okay,
news.
that's true. Not me. Like I would be
I
like a
couldn't go
fool.
either. I'm with
I,
you.
yeah, yeah. But anyway, I want to mention that. Okay, so there's a 19-year-old young man on there.
Yeah.
Also, I believe Hamish Harding, the man that went to space with Jeff Bezos, they showed a video on his son. I think his name is either Josh or Josh, but he looks like a young kid. He was on video with him talking about the Blue Origin and how they went to space last year. So I bring him up because, that's his dad. He's still a young kid. It looks like a teenager. I don't know much about these other people, but my heart goes out not only to the 5 souls on board, but to their families. And really, like, it shouldn't matter if they're billionaires. Like, don't be a dick. Like, maybe it wasn't the best activity to do or whatever, but it doesn't mean that anyone deserves to die. And I really think some of these jokes going around are a little cheap and
Yeah.
disrespectful. I always thought, like, we joke about these tragedies that happen, I'd say a few years later, but
Right.
like we don't even know the outcome yet, and these motherfuckers are out here, playing the Titanic music and being like this and that. I don't know,
I
but
think
people
it's
seem to
so
like it.
disrespectful, like so just,
I'm
just
not a hate.
so
I'm not a
sick.
hater. I just think there's a time and a place for it, and it's not now, especially when we don't know the outcome. So,
Exactly.
just keep that in mind. These are human beings. They have families. Families may be seeing these
Oh,
videos.
that's good to know, Erica. Thank you.
10 hours of oxygen left, Erica said. That's fantastic. But here's the thing. That's a real countdown now. 10 hours. They would have to locate that sub. I don't even know. I'm
I
not an
think they would
expert.
have already had to have located it because then they have to go down and get it, and that's not something that you can just go and do. Like, you have to go down and be able to get it up, and it's going to take a long time too.
Okay, you're right. But here's my hope. My hope is they're on the fucking surface. They're found soon, and they could just unbolt that fucking thing and get them out.
Right.
That's my hope.
About a year ago, maybe a little less, maybe a little more, like, I have this dream, and it's so real that it, like, scared me. Like, you ever have that feeling where you wake up and your heart's pounding really hard, and like you're literally frightened? And so that day, I can't remember if I was just talking to Tina or I was talking to, all 3 of the girls, but I was saying I had this dream that I was at this birthday party for my son. And in the dream, there was like this big circle, and there was all these houses, and their driveways met up to the circle. And so anyway, in the dream, I start running up the stairs because I'm trying to get away for 2 people that I have seen show up to the house. And for whatever reason, I'm trying to hide from them. And they're dressed very professional. They have briefcases, and they want me to go through paperwork, and I don't want to go through it. Come to find, well, I'll go through that later on. Okay, so anyway, so then I'm put into this, like, vessel. But the vessel looks more like almost like an elevator, right? It was in the shape of like a square. And I'm in there with just a few other people. And I'm like, I don't want to be in here. I don't want to be in there. And I'm freaking out. But in the dream, I will say there was more than one window. There was like several windows in this thing. And I knew they were going to drop us in the middle of the ocean. And I was freaking out, and I was saying, I don't like the ocean. I don't like the ocean. And there was this woman, and on the outside, she looked very beautiful, but you knew her heart was just evil, evil, evil. Like, and I knew that they were making us go into the ocean. So all of a sudden, we're just dropped into the ocean, and you could feel that feeling, like almost like going down really fast in an elevator, almost like if you're on a ride and it's very scary and your heart's like pounding. But in the dream, it was pounding so bad because I knew I was going to die. So we land on the bottom, and we're on the bottom of the ocean, but it's not like scary. It's not all like pitch black. You can see fish going by and all the stuff that would at the time almost seem beautiful, except I know there's no way to get out of there, right? And water starts coming in, and the people around me start dying. And I remember there was this thing, and I was hitting it, and I don't remember why I was hitting it, or if I was probably for help, but I was hitting it really hard, and I was sobbing, crying, and I was just hitting it because I knew I was about to die. But all those people around me had died. And so today I text Tina and I go, "Do you remember that dream I had?" And she's like, "What?" Like at first, and then you could tell even before I could write anything, she was like it dawned on her. She knew immediately what I was talking about, but it was that dream that I had. And this kind of stuff has happened to me over and over again throughout my life. But that particular dream was terrifying. It was as if I was actually in this thing, as if there was no way to get back up, and I knew for a fact I wasn't going to make it back.
You know what? Now that I think of it, I told you he was being sued by those people that were supposed to go on it last year.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe one of them was like that woman or something. Like, I don't know. Maybe this was supposed to have, like, had they gone, it would have happened last year. Maybe your dream, like.
Oh, I didn't even think about that, Tina.
I don't know. It's weird to me that you would have had the dream like a year before this took place. It's so similar and frightening. Yeah, Sunny has some fucked up, realistic, eerie, frightening dreams.
Mm-hmm.
And the scary thing about them is that they are almost like premonitions. Like I'm in a submarine. Like I didn't even.
That's not funny.
No, I'm not making a joke. I'm saying look at the window. Like it just looks.
It's so pitch black.
No, I wasn't making light of this. I just noticed.
No, I know. I know. It freaked me out picturing you in a submarine. I'd be like, "Get out of there!"
Like, you're like, no, you don't care.
But anyway, yeah, I have really random dreams like that. My dad used to have them too. He'd dream about something, and then it would normally happen.
Your biological.
So, yep, my biological father.
I was reading something about one of the people in the sub. The wife is a great. Get the fuck out of here! I didn't hear that.
What?
Wait, Sonny, read that out loud.
Okay, I was reading something about one of the people on the sub. The wife is a great. Hang on one second. A great granddaughter of a couple that was on the Titanic.
We will keep you guys updated on this story if anything comes awry.
Well, guys, thank you for joining us as always. We appreciate it. Much love to you guys. And with that, I can't really do it because I only got one hand available. But box people out. Bye, guys.
Bye.